Sunday Jewish Radio.
You're listening to Sunday Jewish Radio from Jewish Care. And just before our rabbinic reflection, Yom HaShoah, or Holocaust Memorial Day, is this coming Thursday, and many charities, such as British Friends of Reuth, will be commemorating it. The charity was founded to help survivors of the Holocaust set up a new life for themselves in Israel. Phil Dave has been finding out more as he spoke to the deputy director of Reuth in Israel, Miriam Frankel, and he started by asking her about the history of the organization.
Reuth was established in 1937. It was actually one of the earliest organizations developed in Tel Aviv and throughout Israel to help those who survived the Holocaust. It was founded by a group of women who got out of Germany in 1933. Those women, within a few years, realized that they'd been able to come out with their clothes, with some money, with some books, and with their self-respect. In 1937, they saw their peers, their neighbors, their friends, other family members coming out with practically nothing. And obviously, anyone who came out in later years literally came out just grateful for their lives. These women got together on the beachfront in Tel Aviv. Probably a lot of you know the location, right near the Dan Tel Aviv. And they started providing soup and food as people got off the ships landing in this strange and foreign and hot country.
If that's what the founding of the organisation was about, what's its main purposes today?
Today it has developed into one of Israel's largest and most respected organizations in the field of care for the elderly, the sick, and all fields of social welfare. Because the mothers who founded the organization originally said that their aim was to provide an answer to Israeli society's needs where others couldn't or wouldn't. And those needs have changed, but we as an organization have developed to provide those answers. Today, we run a 350-bed hospital for chronic care and rehabilitation. We run 3 centers for the elderly. We run 3 seniors' homes. And especially relevant today, as we discuss Yom HaShoah, we have a subsidized housing project for the elderly needy, with about 200 people living there, and 50% of them are still Holocaust survivors.
Now, I believe that Yom HaShoah it obviously is coming up this week, but you were involved, or you got involved with the organisation because of Yom HaShoah. So tell us a bit about how you'd managed to get yourselves associated with this organisation.
Well, it's a little bit of a combination of my personal history, and I actually feel very humbled to be speaking to a British radio right now, because my father was one of those boys who got out on the kinder transport. There's a wonderful woman at the University of Southampton now by the name of Jennifer Craig Norton, who's writing her doctoral thesis on some of the kinder transport children. And she has done a tremendous amount of research and found a lot of papers from Rabbi Schoenfeld that had not been opened for years. And in that, she found the story of my father, one of the most documented kinder transport children of this specific group of boys who got to England. I always carried with me my father's history, what he had passed on to us. And when I began working at Reuth, perhaps I didn't get involved because of Yom HaShoah, but after I got involved in Reuth over 21 years ago, I sat with my father in our kitchen and said to him, the chairman of the board of Reuth is someone called Gerda Ochs. And my father said to me, Gerda Ochs? The wife of Herr Dr. Rabbi Ochs of Leipzig? And I said, yes, that's her. And my father said, I remember them from Leipzig. And I said to him, Daddy, you don't remember anything from Leipzig. You got out there when you were just after Bar Mitzvah. Your parents never got out. And you don't talk about that. He said, that's true, but them I remember. And at that point, I realized that my work for Reuth and what I do professionally is so intertwined with my personal life and my own personal family history that this was definitely a match made in heaven and something that would enable me to combine everything I believe in.
I think it's fair to say that with that story, it was obviously Beshet. It was meant for you to do this, that's for definite. You mentioned earlier on about how when the organisation was founded by some of the people who came over to Israel for the first time, it was obviously a long time ago, but are any of the original families still involved, or has it all progressed on a bit much since then?
You know, it's one of the wonderful things about Reuth that it has progressed on, but the children and the grandchildren have, moved on with us. And today, the chairman of Reuth, a young woman who's the granddaughter of one of the founding mothers of Reuth.
Wow.
And it's fascinating because her grandmother's telephone number is on the original Reuth letterhead. And there are a number of other people involved, second and third generation in Reuth today.
Amazing. Well, if people want to get involved, how can they?
Well, they can, in Britain, speak with Janice Shapira. Our website is www.reuth, that is REUTH with an H at the end, .org.uk. And I'd like to say that some of our British friends of Reuth are also future generations or following generations of founding mothers of Reuth. So we do try and keep our friends both connected with our past and working together with us for our future.
Miriam Frankel talking to me earlier on in the week. And don't forget, if you'd like to find out more information on British Friends of Reuth, or of course on any of the stories we're covering on this week's show, then do go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Sunday Jewish Radio.